All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Alliance live show ready to go. We're at episode 124, and today we're going to dive into some Rise of Skywalker, Star Wars Episode 9 spoiler talking. And before we get into that, I want to just introduce the wonderful group of folks that join me here for this show every week. First and foremost, the man on screen, the much more handsome gentleman to the upper left of your screen would be good old Maurice. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing?
Good. Just
down here. Sorry.
Just dealing with a snowstorm here over in New York. You know, just trying to. Now it's all melted and everything, so it's okay now. But yesterday was pretty intense. Didn't expect to get as much snow as we did. It was cool to see finally a little bit of snow here for the winter for us. But next, let's go ahead and introduce from the Boba's Alliance, Avinash. How you doing, Abby?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
And from the Reality Skewed Gamers, you know him, you love him, RangerJ1999.
I'm so amazing when I enter a room, puppies are born.
So let's dive into it. I mean, listen, I figured it's been a month now, and...
Well, there's really nothing going on in the game, so yeah, I mean...
Yeah, so I mean...
Star Wars Galaxy Heroes have left us with, guys. My God in heaven, what are they doing over there?
It has been, without a doubt, a very slow period of time with the game. We haven't gotten anything new. And I kind of thought that we would have heard some news about Poe Dameron or one of these new things they discussed recently in the Q&A this week leading up to the show. But I haven't heard anything. I don't see any topics really game-wise specific to discuss. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about the... TB that's ongoing currently, and also we'll discuss the state of when these updates may actually drop, because I'm just kind of curious. I mean, before we dive into the Rise of Skywalker stuff, what do you guys think about the Poe character? I mean, do you think, first of all, that he's coming sometime soon, or do you think this was just one of those things they're telling us and then we're probably not going to see any new character for maybe a month or so? They said towards the end of January, right? So we should be seeing something in the next week or so.
This is as good as mine. I mean, this is gone beyond ridiculous. I mean, we're going into the third week of January. I mean, they put out those new characters, beginning of December, and we're in the third week of January. I mean, I know they have the holidays off and stuff, so some sort of plan or something, you know. So I mean, it is what it is, you know. So yeah, if it's this week, I don't know when it's gonna drop, and at this point, it's so ludicrous that it's like just drop it whenever, you know, because I'm still stuck dicking around with gas and the other things. So
when I look at the screen and I see me and Maurice's backgrounds, green and red, I just think of the holidays for some reason. That isn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought of traffic.
Yeah, that's another way to look at it. Yeah.
Now we need somebody on there with a yellow background.
Yeah, somebody right in the middle with a yellow background. That'd be cool.
Avinash.
But yeah, I kind of figured that we would have heard something by now. I mean, it is like the second week of the new month, and honestly, it's been slow. I mean, I don't know. I kind of figured that Poe would have at least been out by now, and they would have started planting the seeds for these new characters and how they're going to come out. But I'm still intrigued by what they said in the Q&A about how these characters were going to roll out some sort of a new mechanic, and they were kind of going to be different. So I don't know what that means. Maybe they'll be, kind of, TW or GA specific. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I find it hard to imagine that they're going to try to sell two new characters that aren't like top of the line meta characters. I don't know. We'll see. But, either way, we should be getting updates on Poe and possibly how we're going to need to obtain the galactic legend Kylo Ren or Rey sometime in the next few weeks. And I'd imagine that would probably be sooner rather than later. So, I expect that probably last week of January, I would say. And, we're probably within we're in that, that sweet spot now where they'll probably start to roll stuff out. I mean, every year around this time, they generally do have like a lull, in December after the movie. But I mean, when the movie comes out and it's a saga film year, they have always released like some sort of event in that window, like of the Christmas time to the end of December. So I don't know. I thought we would have heard more news by now. At least how to get prepared, for the new characters. Maybe they'll be raid specific. Maybe there's a new raid coming and they have something to do with the new characters. Maybe there's a raid of maybe there's a raid on Exegol. Who knows? But that'll bring us into the Rise of Skywalker stuff. So I guess Ranger, you've seen it. Maurice, you've seen it. Abby is yet to see the movie, but at the end of the day, I mean, she's been given 30 days, and this is her own fault.
You had enough time, damn it.
This is her own fault. But I'm sure you've heard enough by now of what happened in the movie through, just talking to people on Discord and, on YouTube, that you probably know the gist of the story at this point. But unless I'm wrong, do you know nothing?
There's quite a bit that I know.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people have talked around it, and I don't mind. It doesn't bother me at all to know what's going on. So.
Okay.
Because at this point, the team really.
Well, it's time to discuss it, because I mean, listen, I put out a review of the movie, so if you haven't seen that, definitely go check that out. But I wanted to get Ranger's thoughts on it. I wanted to get Maurice's thoughts on it. I wanted to get Abby's thoughts on it, and honestly, I think that. I think that this is a good time to do it because there's really not a lot to discuss in game this week. So, spoiler warning for anybody that hasn't seen Episode 9, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. We're just going to discuss that now, and I'll put a timestamp in the video. Later on when it posts, showing you where you can skip ahead if you want to miss any or skip any of the spoilers. So. Spoiler warning, and like I said, you can check later in the description for the timestamp on when you can skip up. But anyway, so what are your guys' thoughts about the movie in general? What do you think?
For me, I was like, me and Finn were on the same page on this. We thought it was really good. Not the best Star Wars movie. It has its problems. And then, film is subjective. For some people, they absolutely adore this movie. And then a lot of people on the other side absolutely can't stand this movie. And that's fine. I mean, as I said, film is subjective. If you're going to like what you're going to like, we both can watch the same movie and have different thoughts about it. And there's no right or wrong answer when you see it. I think the movie has some really good stuff in it. There's some really great scenes in the movie for me that hit home, that really worked. There was some stuff in it that I was like, I kind of had to just shake my head and just go with it. It didn't bother me as much. I think the biggest thing is Palpatine. We'll get into that, I'm sure. But other than that, the big things like Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley's performances as Rey and Kylo for me were top notch. I think this is the movie I was waiting for. We had a damn movie finally where we had the whole group together doing shit, and I really like that. Because the other ones, they've had their head up their ass and didn't do that. I kind of get that with the first one because they're introducing the characters. The second one, I don't know what they did with that. But this one, I kind of enjoyed that. But there were some really, really great, poignant, just really great epic heart pull strings for me. But yeah, we'll get into the Emperor Palpatine thing. So, I mean, the way they started that, I was like, really? You're right there, huh?
What do you think, Maurice? What do you think about it overall?
I thought it was really good. I went into it with pretty low expectations, just in case. But it didn't like wow me, but it definitely didn't disappoint me. I do think the ending of it, like, it's just they tried to wrap the whole saga up in like 15 minutes at the very end, and it was just poof done. Like the ending left a little to be desired, I guess.
There's a lot of rushness to this. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like it builds up, and the first hour and a half of the movie was excellent. Like everything was building up. You know, it was actually making sense. You know, I heard a lot of people say the movie didn't make much sense, and it was just.
No, I disagree with that. Yeah.
That's what I heard too. It was
but it was making sense. You know,
I understand that people said don't pay attention to the previous movies. Just take this movie as it is. That's what I heard.
You know, that like it was cool to see like the main characters of like Finn, for instance. He's not so dopey in this one. You know, he's got some bravado to him. You know, he is actually, you know, a hero of the resistance now. And Poe, you know, just the characters are much more just. I don't know. I feel like the characters are portrayed much better than they were the previous two. Like there was just so much.
The banter.
First two, like Poe or Finn. Well, not so much Poe, but Finn and Rose, and a lot of these characters were just kind of like wimpy. You know, there was no rebel versus like the Empire, and then in the original three, you know, there were those strong characters. I think you said a good. Adam Driver played a great part. Daisy Ridley. I think all the actors did a great job in this one. Just the ending, it just kind of let up. You know, there's two movies. You know, everyone kind of you can feel is Rey gonna go dark side? Is Kylo gonna go light side? Sort of aspect to it for the first 2.5, like the first 2.5 of this movie. All of a sudden, it's just poof done. It's like, oh, I thought they could have done, like you said, they could have done a much better job with Palpatine. That whole aspect of it felt kind of forced.
It was very forced.
It's almost like they had it almost felt like they had like a plot line A, and then they couldn't make it happen and just kind of forced this part of it, the Palpatine and the ending and all that stuff. That was kind of lame. I feel like Palpatine would have gone over better with me had I not known he was in the movie. Like if it would have been a surprise kind of, but you know, even in the original trailers and stuff, they had his cackle in the back, and everyone knew Palpatine was going to be in it. So it kind of took away the surprise element of it, I guess.
Well, he's just thrust in there, and for the first time ever in the crawl, it's like the dead speak. It's like, shit, there's no foreplay with this one. They're going right in.
I was surprised that they went right into Emperor Palpatine, like literally first scene. I mean, it's like literally there's so much stuff going on in that first like 30 seconds of the movie that it's first of all, you know, you're finding out that Emperor Palpatine is back and he's like fully in the flesh, right? You're finding out that Snoke was a puppet the entire time. So the main bad guy for the first two movies is a clone, and you are finding out that he's a puppet this entire time, right? You're also finding out that first Kylo's on Mustafar to start the movie. They don't even mention that. Like he's on Mustafar. He's literally going to the remnants of Vader's castle to get that that wayfinder, right? So right off the bat, you know, you're on Mustafar. You're getting, you know, you're at Vader's castle getting a wayfinder, and you're going to Exegol, which is the end game for the movie. And you're meeting Emperor Palpatine and finding out that he's been alive this entire time. You know what I'm saying? And you're finding out that Snoke was a puppet. So it's like, you know, I like the idea of making Palpatine Vader's voice the entire time. Like, so the whole time that he thought he was talking to Vader's helmet, and like he thought he was talking to his grandfather, he was actually just hearing Emperor Palpatine in his head, right? And but so I like that they kind of, you know, tried to tie it all together like that. And I guess if you think about it, like from episode 1 to episode 9, you know, the villain that entire time is Palpatine. But I don't. But
the way they did it doesn't work for me.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the one weak part of this that does not work for me, and it's because of this. Now, in the EU books, Palpatine comes back, but in a different kind of sort of way with clones and things of that nature, right? But in this one, he's not even mentioned, right? You don't even get any hints. Like he's not even like a part of this in any sort of way. Then all of a sudden, bam, yeah, he's been there the whole time, and it doesn't work because you didn't build up to that point. I mean, if you had little snippets and teases of him being in there where people were like, oh no, could that be Palpatine? You know, going into episode 9, that would have been much different than the way they did it. And the other thing, and the reason, and this is a legitimate complaint that people have, it completely destroys what Vader did in Return of the Jedi.
Okay, so
because he sacrificed himself to kill Palpatine to bring balance to the Force, and that is completely out the door. I mean, it completely is, and I don't know if they really thought about that. I mean, you can't get around that. I mean, Palpatine being destroyed was Vader bringing balance to the Force, fulfilling the prophecy up to that point. And the prequels tie into this. Isn't he the chosen one? Isn't supposed to be balance to the Force?
Well,
and then it's like, well, that doesn't really matter. Let's just do it this way, bring Palpatine back. And it just, that's the one complaint I have heard that I give legitimacy to. Like, yeah, I can't argue against what people are saying about that.
Well, Gridden says here that Rian Johnson gave JJ literally nothing to work with, and that's why he had to go and bring back Palpatine.
Yeah, I think that's the problem too, is that even though Episode 8 hugely divisive with the fans, it went in a direction that I don't think JJ had wanted to. But that's the one problem these movies too. I think someone mentioned in the chat is that when you look at something like Marvel, right? This is what makes Marvel so damn brilliant. Each movie stands on its own with its own story and kind of arc that it goes through. And it could be a heist film or whatever it is, right? Spy thriller, but with Marvel superheroes. The director was giving carte blanche to work within those parameters, right? But keep the continuity going and having parts tie into one another. And they did that for 20 movies. Here we have 3 movies with like different directors and different direction, and it's like that it doesn't work. If you just say, you know, you give a director whatever he wants to do, he may not want to do what the other director wanted in the previous film. And that's what happened with Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson made a Rian Johnson movie. He did not make a Star Wars movie. And then JJ comes back because they got the other guy didn't want to do it, and he wrote the story where he thought it would have to go, and and that's what some of the weak parts of this film are, right? Is that and then when you have to, you know, it's basically runs over all kinds of stuff that you would think in Episode 8 would be important, and even The Force Awakens. So as cool as a lot of those moments are, the biggest problem is still Palpatine. Palpatine coming back and the way they brought him in just immediately, just out of the blue. I mean, for me, it's like I went with it because I'm like, okay, well, shit. I guess I'll learn how he did that later on. But I can see for a lot of other people that don't read or follow the books and comics and things of that nature, you're kind of
well, just it didn't make sense to me because they
it doesn't.
Because they made such an effort to kill off all the original characters, right? Kind of get all the original characters out one by one, right? Like, and then they all of a sudden just at the end of this one, it's like, let's just go back. You know, like it didn't make any like if they're wanting to kill off Luke, if they're wanting to kill off Han Solo, if they're wanting to kill off these characters, why not? Why would you use the original enemies to end the saga on? Like somebody in the chat said, like it should have been like Rey versus Kylo. There is a new leader of the Sith, and just something like I don't mind necessarily leaving it so open ended. That I can understand, but just it didn't make sense.
No,
I mean,
not with Palpatine, and even the stuff at the end with Palpatine, like for instance, the fleet.
Yes.
How did the hell did that get there? Underground.
Well, okay. So this is the thing. So apparently the Sith have been doing this plan for a long time. I think this is before Palpatine even came into it. I think the Sith Eternal is a cult that's been there for millennia.
But
right?
that wasn't explained. See, that's the problem.
And in the visual dictionary, it explains that the reason that the Sith didn't go to Korriban, okay, the reason, and this was one of the questions earlier too in the chat, to answer your question about Korriban. The reason they didn't go to Korriban is because everybody already knew that Korriban is the Sith homeworld, right? So they knew that if the Sith were ever going to rebuild, that's where their home planet is. So they thought that going to Korriban and starting up this cult or building up this fleet would have been like advertising it to the galaxy that the Sith are rebuilding their power. They decided to go to Exegol because it's so hard to get to Exegol. so that they could rebuild their army there because they would be able to do it in secret. So I'm assuming that underneath that ice or whatever is going on there, that there's a huge base.
Not explained in the movie. They're just there.
It could be something that might have been explained in the movie, but they edited it.
And that might be the case too, but I have to go with what's there. Like I don't have the uncut version. So that one was a little strange, right? And then the other thing too is the Empire is really stupid. They seem to build things that can be destroyed by the smallest shit. They've got this Death Star ray technology on the bottom of their ships. Cool. They actually start blowing up some planets. I'm like, awesome. And yet a Y-wing can go in there and blow it to smithereens.
That felt unoriginal. That's like the exact way they blew up the Death Star in the first one. It wasn't even.
Well, even the first Death Star was because and that's what makes Rogue One so great. There was a plan. There was a weakness put into the plan, right? To give and it was a long shot, but it gave them something the rebels to go for. This was just shoot it and the whole ship explodes, not just the laser cannon. The whole ship explodes, and I was like. Now, back in my day, Death Stars were a little bit more stronger than that. It took multiple hits to take one of those down.
I mean, what bothered me the most is the awful job they did of just getting rid of Hux's character. Just
I actually like that.
It's like, I'm the traitor. Man, okay, done. Never heard from him again.
I loved it. So stupid. I thought it was great.
You know what I think. You know what I think. Now after like rethinking the whole saga as a 3-movie set, I don't hate The Last Jedi as much as I did initially. You know, and you know what it is I still think that this is by far a better movie. Don't get me wrong. I still think The Rise of Skywalker is a better movie because it kind of hits some of those. Check some of those boxes for me that I want to see in a Skywalker movie. But I also now, I mean, even when the movie came out, I thought the movie was a good film because it kind of what's its strength is also its weakness. It's kind of weird to say. It's like. Yeah. Because it does subvert all of our expectations. That's what kind of makes it interesting, right? Like you don't know which direction this guy was going to go in that movie. The whole time I'm watching The Last Jedi, I am just getting upset left and right about things that are going on. And the fact that I'm able to get emotion from the film like that actually means the director's doing a good job, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm compelled to know like what's going to happen next. Now, I think that, you know, he made some decisions, unfortunately, because he only had a 1-movie imprint to make on this saga. He made some decisions in that movie that kind of left Episode 9 in a weird spot, right? Like, so whether it was a good movie or not, it's still the second movie in a trilogy, and he had to know that. And then, you know, he kind of removed any mystique or mystery or any setup for the final film. You know what I'm saying? And he really kind of left the saga in a state where there was, I mean, all you knew was that Luke is dead, and now the Resistance is getting away with like 26 people, and they're, you know, it's like it's just a weird spot to put the whole franchise in to head into an Episode 9, especially not, you know, kind of leaving us with some sort of a cliffhanger for the following movie. There was really nothing, you know. It was just kind of.
Well, the cliffhanger for the previous movie was that last scene where that boy uses the Force to pick the broom, and I'm sitting there after Episode 8 going, "Oh snap! We're going to jump up into the future, and all these characters have aged a little bit, and now Rey's got she's starting to train Jedi and stuff." That's where my thought went after Episode 8, after seeing that. We go right into Palpatine. And they focused on the story of Rey and Kylo, and I could say so. You know, so those were some of the problems with the movie that I had. Now, some of the stuff that I really liked, I loved Kylo Ren's arc. I didn't know how they were going to redeem him. They did, and how they did it, I thought was so great with Harrison Ford coming back in that same kind of setup scene and stuff. Saying that classic line when he's you know trying to let him know that he loves him. His dad's like, I know, but that moment gave me feels. I think the other thing too that I really liked was when Luke came back, and you knew JJ spat on what Ryan did previously when he threw the lightsaber. This time he caught it, and it was an F you to Ryan, and so he catches like, this is a weapon of the Jedi, and it should be treated as such. And I like the conversation that Ray and Luke had. The reason I don't think this movie is stronger is because what JJ did is kind of like what he did with Force Awakens, is kind of a carbon copy of Return of the Jedi, right?
In some ways, yes, definitely, and
In most ways.
I mean, listen. After what happened with Episode 8, though, he kind of felt like, and I guess he was kind of pressured by the studio at that point, probably, to make a movie that would service the fans, right? So, I mean, like, there was a lot
of fan service in this.
This is super fan service. I mean, listen, let's go through the things. Okay, Leia ended up training as a Jedi, which means that her training of Rey is a lot more meaningful now because she actually got trained by Luke. Okay, so I think that's cool. I think everybody would have wanted to know that Leia, after Episode 6, did get some sort of Jedi training or learned how to use the Force a little bit, and that's why she was so attuned with it. Kind of being able to feel Kylo and the way they dealt with Leia after her death in this film, I think was very respectful. I think it was very well done, and I think that was very cool. This is what I think. I think that you could have still had Snoke be the main bad guy in this movie.
Agree.
You could have just
not after Episode 8.
Yes, you could. Listen, if Palpatine survived from the Death Star, then Snoke could still be alive in the unknown regions, and that body that died in the Supremacy could have been a clone. Okay, and Snoke could be the one that's in charge of this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Still, he could have just, one of the main theories after Snoke died was that he didn't really die. Like, it was just one of his bodies, and he's able to transfer his essence somewhere else. I mean, if you were trying to make Snoke listen, it was clear that Snoke was being built up as being somebody who was more powerful than Emperor Palpatine.
It doesn't jive. Yeah. It doesn't jive.
So I mean, Snoke was supposed to be, and even in the books, it says that Palpatine feels a presence in the outer regions, in the unknown regions, that is like kind of the origin of the Sith's power. And that's in the books. And so the whole time they're kind of hinting that there's this stronger, force wielder out there somewhere for the dark side. So they could have made Snoke, I think they could have made Snoke anything. I mean, they could have made Snoke an amalgamation of the son from Mortis. You know what I'm saying?
Could have, but they did. See, this is another problem I have with this trilogy. There's a lot of it I like, don't get me wrong. However, we live in a galaxy full of incredible stuff, and you can think outside the box on stuff that you could have used. You could have gone in a whole different direction. Rey did not have to be a Palpatine. That came out of left field too, and I didn't like it. I mean, I love how she dealt with it and her interaction because of it, but why can't Rey just be nobody? Her parents were nobody, right? She becomes this great hero and stuff. That's what most heroes do.
I kind of like that she's a Palpatine, to be honest.
I kind of. When was she conceived? This is something I was hoping you guys would know. Like, when did this happen?
Yeah, like, we know he had a son, and then he had a wife, and then this is like.
Her age is before. Her age, she's younger than Chancellor Palpatine. Right?
So what ended up happening is, so at some point the Emperor had a son, and that son had a wife, and he had a kid, and that kid is Rey, right? So.
Yeah, it's his granddaughter. So I mean, but first of all, what was Palpatine's wrinkly old ass? And second, nowhere before has his son ever been mentioned. That's kind of a big deal.
Why wouldn't his son be powerful with the Force? I mean, that doesn't make.
That's not how the Force works. Just because your parents are strong with the Force doesn't mean you'll have that kind of connection, right? That's why people that don't have anything with the Force have children that suddenly can use the Force. They don't. nature of the Force.
But wouldn't Palpatine?
Does
Also
anything it mention at all as to why they dropped Rey off on that planet and then left?
Yeah,
Never came back.
They it showed it deals with that one guy, right? So they put her there temporarily. They were trying to do something, and then he backstabbed them, and that's how they ended up on the other planet, if I'm not mistaken, where the ship crashes and stuff.
It was all wrapped up in the final 3 minutes of the movie.
Oh wow! Okay.
This is okay. The stream is back now. It dipped for a second.
But it's just stuff like that, and I know why they did it, because you make a great point. They only had so much time to do it. Now, if it would have been me, and if I was in charge, with that much content and story, you could have done 2 movies. You know, you can't be afraid just to not do it. It doesn't have to be a trilogy. You know, do what works best for the story. Don't be constrained by, well, the others were trilogies. We have to do a trilogy. No, you don't. You can do whatever the hell you want.
If it's going to be like the last of the saga, you might as well go full out on the last movie, and if you have to, split it into 2 movies. There's no reason why you don't need to do that. Yeah, so.
Well, part of me feels like a lot of this is left open-ended to keep the options open for spin-off movies and maybe another trilogy or something 15, 20 years from now. Like there's so much potential for spin-offs now. Whether it be a film or maybe another cartoon series, a book, whatever the case is, there's a whole lot of open endings for future Star Wars content. I felt like that was kind of done on purpose in some areas. Like we just talked about, like when the Palpatine's son was never mentioned. So there's a whole nother story arc that could be done through novels, through a spin-off movie, something like that. Just I don't know. I didn't like that aspect of it. Like it didn't, whereas before some of the other movies, there were holes in it, but I don't feel like they were done purposely.
Yeah,
this one,
I feel like crammed into this movie. That kind of hurts a little bit, but the performances and the other stuff, I mean, they're just so good, and the action sequences are a lot of fun. I mean, this movie's non-stop all the way, which I really enjoyed. I was like, that's just the kind of movie I'm here to see, damn it.
If you had never seen any other Star Wars content, you went to this movie, it's great. You would have thoroughly enjoyed it. Some of the story wouldn't have made sense. But it doesn't matter. It was still the movie itself was great.
And can we talk about Chewbacca? Chewie was the man in this film. Yeah. So, and him and 3PO. I like that those characters got some time to shine in the sun in this movie too. And Chewie's reaction to Leia's death. Oh my God, that was so good. God, that was pull at the heartstrings moment for me too. I was like, yes, that's how Chewie should have reacted. Pounding the ground and just losing his shit over that.
That was a sad moment. Yeah. What about the Chewie dying scene? I wish that they had prolonged that a little bit longer, so we didn't find out right away that he was alive. But I mean, because I had heard some of the spoiler stuff before going into the movie, but I didn't know that was going to happen. So like seeing that genuinely got me for a second. I thought that he died. You know what I'm saying? Like I really for a second was like, wow, like JJ's crazy. I was like, JJ's crazy. He's killing Chewie like that? I was like, oh my God.
I knew that was a big switch.
Oh my God. It's, but I was like, but how crazy would that have been if that really was his death? You know what I'm saying? That would have been such a cool thing. I don't know. I feel like it would have really torn Rey apart and would have made that whole... It would have made the whole movie a little bit more compelling, I think, if they kept that. If they didn't retract that later on.
Yeah, but there's still. I mean,
she shot the lightning. She killed. It was. I was like, wow. Like when she shot Force lightning out, I was like, okay. She's gonna be balanced. You know what I mean? Like at the end, I don't know. I just thought it was gonna be different.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff in this. I recommend people watch it. There'll be some, I think for this movie, I said it's a lot of fun. There'll be some stuff that maybe you like a lot, and maybe some stuff that you're kind of like, nah, that doesn't work for me. But it's one of those, it's just the way it kind of just came together, right? Some stuff, a lot of stuff in this movie worked for me. I had a great time watching it. It's a lot of fun. There were some powerful emotional moments for me. still some stuff like I've mentioned previously, like, okay, that's a little too far, even for me. I can't ignore that fact. But even with that stuff happening, I was still having fun, right? Seeing Lando was doing what he did was fun, right? So some of the cool shots and stuff that they had going on was super fun. So, so I could say it's like I think I give the movie like a 7.5 out of 10 or something like that. For me, it's in the middle of the Star Wars movies. I mean, I would watch it again, given the chance. Like Episode 8, I have not gone back and watched it again. I've seen it once, and I haven't gotten Force Awakens. I watched a few times, but Episode 8 no. But this one I would watch a few times. Certain Star Wars movies comes on, and I'm just like, nope. Like Attack of the Clones, absolutely not. I will not watch that movie. I can't stand that movie.
At least Episode 1 has that Darth Maul scene with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. That's awesome. The Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, Episode 1 with the Darth Maul stuff has always been its strongest thing. But that movie has some moments of when Liam Neeson's on the field, Ewan McGregor, that's strong stuff. But then the other stuff, it's like, oh God. But yeah, everyone's going to have a different opinion about what they like. Some people like the prequels more than the original trilogy. Some like the sequels more. There's no right or wrong answer. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, and maybe you're in the middle. Like there's some parts you like, some parts you didn't.
I'm a big fan of the movie. I thought it was great. I thought that it really dove into some lore, which was kind of cool, and he added some elements. I think that the whole Force heal thing was a little bit too loosely thrown around. I mean, like
way too loosely.
I mean
never
that
done that.
That has never happened.
In the legends, there are people that Force heal, no doubt about it. That is actually canon. I mean, Jedi can heal. There's books on it where. There are certain Jedi that.
I mean, it made me feel like nobody. It made me feel like nobody could. I mean, they could resurrect anybody at any time. In this movie, that's kind of what I felt like after this movie. Was like, okay, like why? She's just gonna heal Kylo after he healed her. You know what I mean? Like, like an endless loop. We just keep healing each other. I was just like, well, where does this end? But it's like, I don't. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that Kylo Ren, Luke, and Leia, all three Skywalkers, died because they used too much Force. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, literally, Leia, Luke, and Ben all died because they used too much of the Force, and they they literally lost their lives because what they were trying to accomplish was something that that involved more ability than any normal Force user could possibly use.
Which up to this point had never been a thing.
It's never been a thing, and all three Skywalkers dead, because they used too much Force. I don't like that. I mean, I didn't like that Ben died at the end. I was not a fan of that, and I also kind of wish, and I still think that my biggest gripe with the movie is that the very ending should have included a Force ghost of Hayden Christensen with Rey. This is Anakin's story. Yeah. Okay, this is Anakin's story, and the very end of the movie, it should have been clear that she was getting assistance from Anakin's Force Ghost to defeat Palpatine. He should have looked and seen Hayden Christensen, and that would have been great. Like that moment of like him seeing, Vader and knowing that Vader took him down at the end, and then Ben could have come up out of the ground and seen his grandpa, and they could have had that moment like grandpa, but
I mean,
they could have done it.
The scene with Rey where the Jedi are all talking to her, right? Which I thought was a really cool scene. But they had Anakin say, "Be the chosen one like I was," and I was like, "Oh, come on, man!
Well,
seriously."
So you have to assume that he's there in spirit.
Yeah, he is. They're all talking to her.
But what I'm saying,
through the Force, which I really threw me off a little bit.
I hope that there's a deleted scene that gets thrown into the canon at some point where he's actually physically there, because
I really thought they would do something with him. I thought that would have been right?
That's what I thought.
I mean,
that
they were
would,
they were building it up. I mean, like Luke literally lifts a ship out of the water and catches a lightsaber physically as a Force ghost, and they basically canonized 100% that Force ghosts can affect the
They've
physical
done that
plane.
previously when Yoda had done the lightning on the tree. So.
Right, but now it's 100%. I mean, like he can catch stuff, he can lift stuff. So that means that like Force ghosts can fight.
Force ghosts, it can interact with the world, because you see that with the Ghost of Ben, like in Return of the Jedi, when he's watching Luke, he's having to move plants and come sit down on him and stuff like that.
But then why can't they fight?
I don't think.
Couldn't he have been there to help Rey win?
I don't know. We're opening up more games, and
what I'm saying is that he should have had like his hand on her shoulder when she was killing Palpatine. Okay, and that would have been epic. And I mean, even if he disappeared at that point, even if like Ben came up and like saw him there and he didn't say a word, but it was just Hayden Christensen standing there, like in the I mean, he's already been canonized as a Force ghost. They canonized the fact that Force ghosts can do things, and then now you have this opportunity here to have like literally have Hayden Christensen come back and make a cameo, which would be the #1 fan service that anybody could do for them.
I agree.
And you missed that. I don't understand how that was a miss.
I think Hayden's
obvious.
I think where Hayden would have been used the best is when Ben's having the crisis of conscience moment. He sees his father, and then the scene shifts, and then you see the ghost of Anakin pop up in front of him, and they have a conversation. Like, you could have used him there as like, hey kid, this is what I went through. You keep calling out to me. Here's the real deal. This is what really happened, right? And I think that would have helped, maybe made Kylo Ren's turn to Ben even more epic and powerful than it was. But it worked for me because Leia sacrificed herself to reach out to him in the last moments. And then, having Han show up, I think was enough. But if you're going to use someone like Hayden Christensen, I think that's amazing. So,
was Han CGI?
No, that was really Harrison Ford. He did that.
Sneaky
little devil.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, all that trash you talked about, all the Star Wars
I know.
stuff. That's why I thought it was CGI. He wasn't in the credits. I actually stayed after the movie and watched the credits. I did not see his name in there at all.
Yeah,
so that's why I thought it was CGI.
That was really him. That's why it was really that was the coup that Harrison came back to do that. So, yeah. But overall, I say go watch the movie. You'll have a good time with
it. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think that there's a lot of things to be happy about with it. I think there's a lot of things to be like a little bit disappointed with, like things that were like missed opportunities, I guess I would say.
Sure.
But overall, I would have to say that it's a satisfying. It's the most satisfying.
It is satisfying.
It's one of the more satisfying endings you could imagine, considering where it was at after The Last Jedi. And I think that now because there isn't a Skywalker anymore, really. They can kind of do whatever they want, and I think that's kind of why they did this, is because they wanted to basically get it to a point where now they can, they can do episode 10, episode 11, episode 12 at some point, and they don't have to abide by any rules anymore. They can kind of, they still have to abide by, I guess, the rules of the world, but they can literally build this up. So now that is done, I mean, they can kind of go. Now that we're hearing rumors about them making movies about the High Republic, they're calling it, and this would be, I guess, a replacement for the Old Republic in the past. And it's not going to be like thousands of years ago. It's going to be hundreds of years ago, and they're going to start.
Well, it's an interesting time period because there's really nothing known about that period that it gives them because they've done lots of canon books and things of that nature up to the Darth Bane trilogy, and then you don't get anything for like 1,000 years until you start getting into Plagueis and stuff like that, leading up to the events of Episode 1. I think it's an interesting idea because really, if you look at the timeline, if you pick up a book and you look at the timeline, there's all these books, Old Republic, all the way up to the Brother of Darkness, where Darth Bane comes, and then you have his series. And then it's like, 1,000 years later. So they can. It really, I think it'll give them a lot of opportunity to come up with some really cool stuff and go into characters and events and things like that. So.
Yeah, so I mean, so that they have the ability to now do a lot of world building, and they can really hire some great directors to just do whatever they want, and just kind of keep things.
But you
within
gotta have somebody, and it ain't Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy's an incredible producer. She's been a producer on some of the best films ever.
I think Dave Filoni is the answer. I think Dave Filoni.
I agree. Get Dave in there. I think that especially after the Mandalorian, which people love.
I mean, he's great on Clone Wars, Rebels.
Rebels. I mean, Dave Filoni, anytime he does something, I'm like, I will watch that because he's so good about keeping things synced and in story and development long term. Yeah.
He also cares a lot about George's original vision for the story. So I'm saying, that to me is important because at the end of the day, I still look at Star Wars as George's baby, and even though, he may not be writing Star Wars stories anymore, I still consider his overall vision to be kind of like the grandfathered, sort of rules that are set in stone. And I think that there, are people out there like Filoni that have actually had long conversations with George Lucas about, his vision on the Force and how things work. And they probably know a lot of things that we don't even know. And I would want somebody like that to be at the helm that, can really pass down those ideals to future creators. You know what I'm saying? So, let's say, Filoni decides to do, a Star Wars show. Let's say he's bringing up another director. He's going to kind of instill some of those values into other people that are creating things for the Star Wars universe. I mean, I know that the Star Wars or the Lucasfilm Story Group really is supposed to be in control of that kind of stuff. But, Pablo Hidalgo, Dave Filoni, guys like that would be great to kind of keep in the, they should definitely be going to the story group and to people like this to discuss continuity for movies and TV shows all in one place. Kind of like, Feige is in charge of all the Marvel stuff. I'm sure he'll be involved with all the Marvel TV shows on Disney Plus. I'm sure he'll be involved with all that stuff because he's going to want to make sure that everything has the same continuity. So I think it's important that, once they start diving into, the High Republic and then maybe even things later on that go, into the future, maybe they do some sort of a story. Like I've heard about these characters called the Grisk. That could possibly be like a newer version or an updated version of the Uzon Vong, that we could see in the future at some point, maybe with Ahsoka or, So I don't know, that they had wars with the Chiss, so that could kind of lead into the whole Thrawn story. So there's a lot of stuff that they could do in the future, and what they've done here is they've kind of given themselves an open book, so where they can kind of create stories and take the stories in all different directions. But there needs to be one person that, or at least a group of people that's in charge of making sure that all these stories, all jive, so that it's not just like everybody creating whatever they want. I think that was a horrible idea for the sequel trilogy, and I think that that's kind of what the problem is. I think it should have been one person's vision all the way through. You know what I'm saying?
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, that's our spoiler talk on The Rise of Skywalker. If you guys have any more questions about that, or discussions or comments, we can discuss that in the Q&A segment towards the end of the stream. But we're going to go ahead and dive into the meta report in the top 5. So let's take a look at the meta here. And as you can see, it is very, very interesting. Look at this. Look at this. So it looks as if Darth Revan has 3,336 liters at rank 1, and General Skywalker has 3,010 liters at rank 1. So he's only 300 more than General Skywalker right now. So this looks almost like a peace sign. You see that pie? It's almost equal. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, Skywalker is going to overtake Revan here, I'd say within the week.
Definitely, because I know me.
Oh yeah.
I'm like 16, get one short of a completed Skywalker. I'll finish mine. And, a couple of the guys in the guild, we were showing off pictures like 85, 90, 95. We're all getting close. So, I mean, just in the guild I'm in, there's probably 4 more Skywalkers that are going to be on this next week. That's just in one guild. So, I mean, there's tons and tons of guilds. There's probably lots of guilds that are going to get probably 15 to 20. No, I'm here.
Yep.
It just defensively, it's a great team to climb with, but the mirror matches are relatively simple. It's just there's an order to things, and you just bam, 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 done. You win. It's tough. It's gonna be It's gonna be very similar kind of to the Jedi Revan meta in that sense that everybody can beat everybody. And just kind of, I think it's going to be kind of boring if it is all General Skywalker. It's going to be pretty boring arena meta. But
well, you got to look at it now. I mean, listen, there's 928 Padmes, and then there's 3,010 General Skywalkers. So really, the majority of the meta right now is actually in favor of Padme and General Skywalker over Darth Revan.
Yeah.
You guys lost audio entirely, or just audio for now, or is the audio good? Can somebody check that?
All right, I'm listening to it.
It's good?
Yeah, I'm listening to it. Yeah, it looks like it's...
I can hear
you're on there.
Okay, it's good. It's good. All right. So, So I mean, basically, I think that you're talking about majority Padme, majority Skywalker. Next week it'll probably be Skywalker and Revan will be number 2. So we can get ready for that. Let's see how this affects the top 10 squad members at rank 1. Okay. Now, we're looking at Bastila Fallen, still number 1, Darth Revan, Darth Malak, and then it's General Skywalker at number 4, Rex at number 5, Fives at 6, Echo at 7, ARC Trooper at 8, and then HK-47 and Grandmaster Yoda. So, a lot of ARC Troopers out there at rank 1.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
He's nasty.
So the pie is pretty much a pizza at this point, with the exception of Grandmaster Yoda there at the end, because there's a lot of Bastilas and a lot of Revans. But really, it's Bastila, Revan, Malak, and then just the clones. So, so I foresee this being General Skywalker number 1, and Rex and Fives and Echo and ARC Trooper kind of taking the following spots, and then we'll start to see the Sith kind of fall to the back end of this list. And, that trend will probably continue into more people unlocking Skywalker the next time around. And, we'll have to see what happens with these new characters, with Galactic Legend Rey and Kylo, because, even if you get these characters, we know now that there's a good chance that they may not give them to us at 7 stars, and you may just be getting a 5-star unlock that you have to then farm out of the get store at some point.
I hope not, because I'm going to lose my shit.
I think that's gonna be what they're doing, man. It's totally what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're only going to give you a little bit. I believe if you were able to get these characters, they should be a 7-star character. I think. That's what I think. I think if you get whatever pieces you need to get the character unlocked, that's just an additional way to kind of just bleed the game, right? It's like, you're just thinking now even the legendaries no longer come at 7-star. And the legendaries now are 5-star, and you have to wait 3 months to get them to 7-star. Because they'll create some new currency that nobody has, to make you finish them up. But we'll see. Maybe Galactic Legend Rey will have her stick and her lightsaber.
Really, that's where you want to go with this?
Maybe it'll be a stick saber.
Is that what you want to do?
That's what she did. She turned her stick into a saber. So I mean, that's what she did at the end, guys. That's what she did. She made that stick a saber.
Yeah.
Glad to see Finity can join us from the duck game.
Finity! Finity!
I would say Finity last night streamed the Surgeon game. And
I keep watching you.
I watch Ranger, I watch you guys all the time, right? But I got the stream on. I'm kicking back to the couch, maybe playing my game, kind of paying attention a little bit here, paying zone out here. But last night he was playing that surgery game, and I was just on the edge of my seat, just watching him cut out eyeballs and throw brains around the room. It was.
And he's a doctor in real life.
You had to jab pencils in the patient's eyes, gouge them out, then just punched the patient in the side of the head till it fell out of the socket. It was incredible. It was the most fantastic thing I've ever seen in a video game.
It's so awesome.
Wow. What's it called?
I don't know.
Surgeon Simulator.
Surgeon Simulator. Well, that's not in a way that I've ever done surgery.
Yeah,
so that could be
it's not good.
That's definitely a game that I'm not interested in at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not with Finn doing it, because he's like sticking himself the anesthetic. He's doing all kinds of
yeah.
So episode 10 could be episode 10, The Return of Stick Ray.
All right, that's enough of that.
Or we could have episode. What if the final bosses for episode 9 were the Eternal Twins? You know, what if Thexan just popped out of hyperspace?
I mean, what if someone poured liquid bleach down your throat?
What if he does
there's just certain things you just don't want to do.
What if they just What if they just popped out of hyperspace and they're like, we've been chilling this whole time in the unknown regions?
No, Remon, that's not how this works.
With the Eternal Twins, like that would have
been
been
alive for over 4,000 years.
What if they literally at the very end, like
my brother died, I killed him, but I brought him back.
Palpatine dies, and it's just like dun, 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 and then just like out of hyperspace, the Eternal Twins.
No, Remon.
The whole time we were behind Palpatine. We were pulling the strings on Palpatine.
No, that's I unfriend you.
They could have done it, you know.
Yeah, they could have done anything.
They could have made this really deeper mythology and they could have still had the Sith Eternal. They could have had Snoke survive, right? Like just had Snoke be able to transfer his essence and make him the stronger.
What the hell does this have to do with the goddamn meta report?
I don't know. We started talking Eternal Twins, and I got off topic, guys. Okay, I'm sorry. You know, we started talking, mythology here.
To the damn top 5 list.
Honestly, listen, guys. I can spend the whole stream just talking about this. Okay,
we know, yes, definitely. Well, yeah, he's in his element now because he's able to talk about spoilers this time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, listen, the Eternal Twins would have been cool. I still think that the ending with the son, and that was something they were actually considering. The son from Mortis would have been cool as a final boss, but they were afraid that people wouldn't know who he was, which is truth. I mean, nobody would have known who the son was, but they could have done some exposition. I think it would have been cool if they broke up, if they just didn't do a trilogy and they made it 2 movies to end the story, and that would have been cool. Yeah.
They did.
Anyway, so that's our meta report for the week. The clones are coming, guys, and they're going to be here to stay. So get ready. If you guys don't have your General Skywalker, freaking get them.
Good luck, because you're going to
freaking get him right away, okay?
No, you don't get him right away because you have to have the get for his monkey ass. So
save your get tokens, and
forever. Never spend them again.
I'm never spend them again.
Save your get tokens because you're probably going to need them for Kylo and Rey also. So just get ready, okay? Get ready. Yeah. All right. So now it's time for our top 5. And this week, obviously, the previous weeks we did the top 5 tanks. To Relic 7, we did the top 5 attackers to Relic 7, and this week we're doing the final segment of that, which is the top 5 support characters to Relic 7. And so there's lots of great support characters in the game. Based on value, this is again not the top 5 support characters. This is the top 5 support characters based on their value to Relic 7. So let's go ahead and take a look at our number 5 here. Who do we have at number 5, Maurice?
All right, number 5. I'll put my Homer hat aside. Just put Asajj at number 5. Asajj is actually a support character. She does not seem like it, but she is very similar to Grandmaster Yoda in that she is a damage-dealing support character. The support class itself doesn't get the boost that the attacking class and the tank class do. But this is a character that she actually has a move that does physical damage and special damage. If you guys have her relics, you probably notice a pretty significant boost in her AOE damage. She gets a lot of special damage from her relics, more health, which is very helpful for all the Night Sister comps. Night Sisters are definitely a health oriented type of faction. So the more health, the more those 16% primaries help get her up there. Especially if you're using her lead. Give her a bigger health pool that way you won't kill her. You'll just knock her down below 100% health. Everybody get turn meter, so on and so forth. Big damage. I'm sure a lot of you, if you guys have Skywalker, I'm sure the vast majority of you, if you didn't already have her relic, needed to at least take her to Gear 13 to accomplish that Phase 4 of that Skywalker event. So a very, very good character. 2 relic. Gets a little bit of everything from her. A lot of the characters, they get increases their physical and special damage, but they only use one or the other. In this case, she actually uses both, so she does get a whole lot of bang for that. She gets good value and just overall great character in general.
Plus, she's kind of a necessity for certain events in the game. She's important for TB. She's important for getting, I believe, for getting Padme, right?
Yeah, not Padme, for gas.
For gas, okay.
But she's important for Padme too.
She's important for Padme because you need separatists for Padme. So
if you're gonna use her, yeah, you can.
Yeah, and she's got that stun on her basic, and really overall being able to dispel. She's a great character, and she's a key to any Night Sister team. And a Night Sister team is really essential in all facets of this game. So having this quality Night Sister squad and having a good Asajj is pretty much a must-have. So
that's why Riemann doesn't have it.
Nope, I don't. That is our number 5 character, support character to Relic 7. Moving along to our number 4, we have Grandmaster Yoda.
Oh, just what I have.
Now, for those of you that, when Gear 13 came out, Grandmaster Yoda's right side pieces were awful. They were terrible, absolutely atrocious for the character. But if you'd put those pieces on for no other reason than speed. You get rewarded here with his relics. He gets a lot of special damage from his relics, and he's got a huge special damage pool already. You're stacking that on. He gets massive amounts of benefit from offense sets, those offense crosses, the offense primaries in general. Can really start paying off. And, he also gets a lot of crit chance from it as well. So if for some reason you didn't want to put a critical damage set on Grandmaster Yoda, it's a little easier to do that now. He's purely special damage oriented character. So it gets big boost to special damage. So he gets that. I think I'm pretty sure it's a crit avoidance. It might be, I think it's a crit avoidance mastery. I'd have to open it up and look, but gets more damage from his mastery as well. So just he's still squishy. It doesn't do that much for his survivability. I mean, you're adding on to such a low health pool already.
Right.
But just from a damage aspect, he gets a lot. You see a lot of people using Relic Grandmaster Yoda in their Padme teams now to counter Skywalker. It's just because it gives Anakin a little backup in terms of offense. Both of them combined can really take out a Skywalker team pretty quick. So all sorts of benefits. People still use them in the Darth Revan teams. They have the slower Darth Revan Bastila, but they do have a faster Grandmaster Yoda. Pop up the Foresight and stuff, and Tenacity up. So he's still got lots of uses, even outside of a Jedi and Galactic Republic team. So just overall, Grandmaster Yoda is still hanging out as one of the better characters in the game.
For sure. And, tying relic value to their ships. Although Grandmaster Yoda doesn't have one in the game, he does have one in the canon, right? So Grandmaster Yoda has his own Jedi Starfighter, and being that we're revisiting the Clone Wars again at some point this year, most likely in the game, I think, because we're going to be getting more episodes of the Clone Wars in February, I think that there is a chance that we could see Grandmaster Yoda Starfighter in the game at some point to add some more Galactic Republic ships. And if that's the case, we could definitely see that at some point, which would, increase his value at a Relic 7 as well as his, standalone value in the game currently. So, moving along to our number 3 character or support character to Relic 7. Who do we have here, Maurice?
I think number 3 is Bastila. Yes. Number 3 is Bastila. Now, her unique gives all sorts of benefits to her and the leader, and her benefit itself gives her crit avoidance, which is actually very helpful. On the Darth Revan team, maybe it's not so necessary, but if you ever want to use her, which you should now, you can start splitting up your Sith Empire a little bit now that Skywalker is involved. We're getting these new First Order Resistance characters. There's a lot of teams now, and you can start spreading your characters up a little bit. Bastila and Sean, if you want to put her under Palpatine, if you want to put her under Traya, she goes great with Traya for the like a crit avoidance type team build. Just fantastic all over. She gets stats across the board. She has regenerating protection and health in her kit. Big health steal if you put her with Darth Revan. Huge health pool she gets from her relic. One of the the third best in my opinion support relic overall. The last 2 characters were damage oriented. She is just kind of she is the first pure support in this list. Gets a lot from the relics themselves.
That lightning attack, man, let me tell you.
Yeah.
You get that going on, she can wipe out a team with one hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she gets offense too. She gets special offense from the relic. Nice little bump. So very, very good overall value for the relic there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that she's one of the higher value Sith characters to Relic 7, period, too. I mean, she's just got a ton of synergy with that, Sith Empire team, and, she's a high damage attacker, high damage support, but somebody who could be labeled as an attacker with the amount of damage that she does, for sure. So could a couple of these. I mean, Grandmaster Yoda as well, for sure. So
in terms of, like, relic value, like just the increases the character's actually good. She's probably the best Sith Empire to relic. Then maybe Malik, and Darth Revan is really not that good of a relic. HK's good, Sith Marauder's good, but just overall for the entire game, Bastila's good. Bastila's gonna be real handy now. You can start splitting her off. I'm pretty excited about Palpatine, Bastila, Traya, Bastila. Even for you guys with Darth Maul, you can make some pretty cool teams with him and Bastila.
Oh yeah, with the Force side.
So it's
oh yeah.
So Ranger, if you had to pick one Bastila to marry, would it be dark side Bastila, or would it be light side Bastila?
I like a little dirt in my afternoons.
Okay.
I'm going.
He wants dirty Bastila. Okay. Dirty Basti. I would marry light side Basti.
That's because you're pussy. I knew you were going to say that. God damn.
I would definitely marry light side Basti.
I knew you were going to say that. God damn. Especially come join me in Avinash and dark.
Especially if you hear light side Basti talk in the game. She's so she's so naive and sweet.
Oh my god. I don't know what are you going to go for? That's clean.
Depends. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm drinking, I want dark side Bastila.
Oh, there you go.
If I'm going to church, I want light side Bastila.
I don't want to bring dark side Basti to the old to the old congregation there, good old Maurice.
I want if I'm out drinking, I want to wake up and feel ashamed for the behavior I performed the night before. It's definitely dark side Bastila.
All right, that's it. Abby, break out a sheet of paper and let's do a pluses, minuses, and interesting facts on marrying dark side Bastila.
Okay.
All right.
No, let's not.
Positives. She's never going to be high maintenance, right? She's not going to want. She's not going to want the fancy.
Bastila was never high maintenance, the light side or dark side.
I don't know, in that game you got to save her ass from a cage. So I mean, it's.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's because of Sith lords. I don't think that makes him high maintenance.
Positive, she can probably cook dinner with her lightsaber, right? Minus,
She's got a lightsaber as a dark. What are you talking about, man?
Minus is she could probably impale you during sexual encounters.
This happens on both sides. What are you talking? Oh Lord.
No, I think light side Bastila would be coherent enough to take off her lightsaber before she would get into an intimate encounter.
The Jedi during. It's a light side character she fought in the Mando Wars. Light side Bastila tear you up.
I could see dark side Bastila shaving and light side not.
Okay.
Okay.
Dark side. You think dark side shaves and light side doesn't?
Yeah.
No way.
I don't even know what to say to that.
No way. It's definitely smooth sailing down there.
God,
for sure.
Light side Bastila, I'd go out
both
and eat,
ways.
but those hairy legs can't. I can't. No, can't do it.
Yep.
Dark side Bastila. Whoa, look at those smooth, silky, sleek. Oh,
I don't know what's happened.
You're the dumbass that started this.
No. The conversation is fine. No, I'm talking about there's something up with the speed. Maybe it's just my screen, my OBS that's wigging out, but it's showing me 0. No, it's fine. So Panda's. All right, it's back. Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, we just had a little drop in the stream quality there. Sorry, guys.
It's a hint. Move on.
All right, so I think this is just a hint that we need to step away from this topic because
you change the screen.
Yeah.
Bastila's bad luck. So let's move on, and we're gonna go to our number 2 support character to get to Relic 7, and that is Geonosian Brute Alpha. Oh man.
Yeah, this character has 0 sex appeal, so there's no way we can get discussed
I don't
with
know.
this.
Remon Lightside, Geonosian Brute Alpha. What are you thinking?
Honestly, I don't know what you're talking about. 0 sex appeal.
I mean, I know the Geonosians were into necrophilia like that, but what are your thoughts on the Lightside version of this character?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that Geonosian Brute Alpha, and all the Geonosians, as a matter of fact, should be light side characters. They are sweet, okay? And
they're not. Good Lord, have you not watched the Clone Wars?
They're a sweet race, okay? And they
weren't.
They were enslaved. They should have been. They are not. It's not their fault that the Empire enslaved them to build the Death Star.
That's not what happened. So you go check out my lore video that I did on the curse.
And then they were basically exterminated.
They were exterminated, but they were not
mass genocide. I mean, listen, they deserve some empathy here. Poor Geonosians.
Yeah, poor Geonosians. So tell us the good stuff about the Geonosians here.
So what?
He's number 2. Because he has a Geonosian brute buddy. The better your alpha is, the better your brute is, and just the better your alpha is, just the better overall your entire faction is going to be. All the equalized heal going on. So more health, more protection equals more survivability for everyone. You don't just have to rely purely on Sun Fact to keep everybody alive. In terms of that, very good relic. As most of you know, to get anything done in the dark side, you at least have to have a 13 brute alpha. I couldn't get anything done with 12. If you guys could, you're just better than me. But he's actually the only Geonosian I have relicked. And ever since I put this in the picture here, the 3rd relic on him, I'm able to get the Wat Tambor shards and actually beat the Acklay. So that's all I need to do for my team, get the rest of them to gear 12, mod them up well, and then take Brute Alpha to Relic 3, and everything just kind of fell into place. I did end up taking, I think, Spy 213, but no relics yet on him. But just a great character. I don't even have the Zeta on his leader, as you can see here. Just pretty cool, and he did change, especially in Grand Arena Territory Wars. Him coming into the game just changed everything up dramatically, made the whole faction relevant. Even Poggle's poor little ass is used now, whereas he didn't get used by anyone before. So just a very good character. They added a very good job they did with just his kit, his stats, the brute itself, and then the relics give him even just the relics are. It's very, very good. Very, very good. You guys should definitely have a relic. Brood Alpha if you're in a guild doing dark side territory battles.
Yeah, I mean the stat bonus for him is great. I mean, is he close to? He's close to Grievous, right? As far as like benefit from the relics, as far as health is concerned.
Yeah, he gets a nice little chunk of health. It's a weird character because he's a tanky support. There are very, very few, if any, actually, that I can think of that have his health. He's probably the highest health and protection pool for a support character in the game. If I'm wrong, you guys do correct me, but he's massive. You can get him up over 150k easy health and protection. 100 protection with the relics is definitely feasible. Good character.
All right.
I mean, are you happy that they went with the sword as the relic?
Well, as Admiral says in the chat, he's made up by CG. No other reference in canon. So
yeah, he's not a canon or even a character. This is something they kind of put together from the Warrior cast of the G-Nations.
To me, guys, he's canon. Okay, he's real.
Oh my God! All right, next.
All right, he's real to me, and like they mentioned in the chat here, at least he always brings another one to the party, right?
That's true.
So you got to love Geonosis Brood Alpha. That is our number 2 support character to Relic 7. We're going to move on to our number 1 in the game. So who's the number 1 support character to Relic 7, Maurice?
Oh, you know who it is. R2-D2. R2-D2 is awesome relics. If you guys still have a Gear 12 R2-D2, I would highly advise that you consider doing him very, very close. Very, very useful character. Resistance, he can go with the Rebels, he can go with the Galactic Republic, just any light side team. That Zeta, the number crunch, the higher relics he has, the more stats he's passing around. It's very simple why he's number 1. It's a good relic too. He gets lots of health. He gets a lot of damage, especially if you have special damage oriented characters. He gets a ridiculous amount of special damage through his relics. And an offense set, as you can see here, you can do offense primaries. You can just mold him however you want. Like if you run him with Padme, you probably want to go heavy on the health. If you run him with resistance, maybe more offense, more potency. He just shares everything you give him with the whole team. And at Relic 7, there's just so much more of it. You can get the speed sets off him, guys. If you have Relic 7, you're wasting a lot of stats by using the speed set with a Relic R2-D2. Very good.
I do his speed set, but that's because I use R2 as get the invis going and then the stealth going and then get him as many turns as possible to hitting those exposes that are coming with that team.
Why is it?
I agree with any other team. You definitely want to go with good old Maurice the Stride.
Why is the speed set bad?
Well, just at R7, he has so much. It's just so many stats that the offense sets, the health sets, any other set, potency doesn't really apply. But just health, offense in general. You put those multipliers on it, and it just multiplies through the roof, and that's just more that he's sharing. I really like. I know this is the mod set I use for. This is kind of an all-around mod set I use, but I know I popped him in my P1 resistance team with no other changes, and he instantly raised my average about 1.5 million, 2 million points just from R7 from the extra offense that all the characters get. Finn, I got Finn hitting for about 210k now for his special, which is much better than I was with a Gear 12 R2-D2. So he's just and the benefits any light side team. You put him with your Rebels. If you guys are trying to counter Skywalker with your CLS Han Chewie, you can just slap a ton of offense on him, and then it's much easier to topple him, or I guess have him go into cover, I guess is the proper terminology. But just very, very good. I did this kind of on a whim or pretty early. He's one of my first relic characters, and I haven't been disappointed with him at all. Just very, very versatile.
All right.
That is our number 1 character to Relic 7. We do have an honorable mention, as usual. And you guys are going to think this is a homer pick, because I do. Mother Talzin.
Mother Talzin. Yeah, our Shakti was right here with it, Abner. There's another one, too. These top 5 lists are tough with such a huge pool of characters now. But Shakti could go here for sure. Mother Talzin, just very similar to Grandmaster Yoda and Asajj in that she just gets a huge boost in special damage, and special damage it just goes through the roof with offense primaries and sets. That's what crit damage is unfortunately kind of dead. There's very few instances now where after these relics where crit damage is better than offense. But this is no different. She can really lay the pain. I don't even have a relic, but I've faced a bunch of them. These Night Sister teams are kind of disgusting. when you got a Mother Talzin Zeta or relic, you got a Saj relic, you got Spirit relic that just gets out of control and they can just completely just destroy your entire team. Yeah, the honorable mention, yeah, Shakti. But yeah, just big offense. You can get the speed sets off her once you relic her because it's almost because she gets so much special offense. It's almost worth the offense set over the speed. Even if you lose like 20-25 speed, the offense gain is ridiculous. Same thing can be said for like Grandmaster Yoda. Same sort of deal.
We've got PewDiePie.
So very good.
We've got PewDiePie in the chat. Say hello, everybody.
Let me see. There was Shakti, and there was one other that could have gone here that I debated on. I don't recall who it is now. But yeah, the 3PO is kind of junky.
No, it doesn't.
Kind of a junky relic. He gets damage.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah, I don't know what's going on the stream tonight, guys. I've been having fluctuating strength here throughout the evening. I'll check that out for the next one. I apologize, guys, but it keeps dropping.
Echo, you can make a case Echo goes here as well, just because he gets that AOE becomes just disgusting with the relic.
So disgusting. Good
Yeah.
God.
Trey Padme is probably a choice that could make it as well. But if you look at her relic, she gets 7 in all 3 categories: strength, tactics, and agility. She just gets a little bit to everything, and really that whole team thrives on the courage. The extra health is nice and defense for her, but damage and stuff like that, you get everything from courage. So she didn't make the list. I know that's disappointing to a couple people, but
yeah, I was thinking Padme too, but yeah, I mean her relic benefit isn't as great as some of these other characters.
Yeah.
So PewDiePie was on the RSG stream too. PewDiePie is making an appearance. What's up, PewDiePie? So yeah, I mean that's our top 5 support characters to Relic 7. Again, these top 5 lists are up to interpretation. So for the most part, sure. They are our opinion, and they can be agreed with, disagreed with. So if you guys have any opinions about that, please do share them in the chat or in the comments on the video after the stream. And I'll always do my best to comment back or share my thoughts if you guys want to share your opinions about that with us. So that's not a problem. But we're gonna go back into some gameplay. If you guys do like that kind of thing, please do like the stream. Please do subscribe to the channel, as it does help. And it does make me feel good. So we're going to go ahead and go back to some gameplay. But while we do that, we will scoop up some questions from the chat. And we'll discuss those here before we wrap up the stream. So if you guys want to go back to any of the Rise of Skywalker discussions, you want to bring that back up again, now's the time. You guys should do it. Somebody's offering somebody a hug in our guild chat. So that's great.
Hugs are good.
Do we have any questions?
Yes, I got a few from earlier in the stream, and we'll go to those now. I think the first one came from Abner Dune. Slow, I guess he's talking about the lack of content. Slow usually means a big drop from CG, maybe the new raid, ? You guys think that this lull here it's the calm before the storm?
I don't think they're just gonna.
It doesn't feel like it.
Does it feel like
we're gonna get some? But I don't think we're gonna get a huge bit of stuff just thrown at us.
A raid sound a raid. I think they would give us like a way advance notice for. I don't think they would just drop a raid. Although that would be awesome.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know the raid's coming. They said that. Now, what could happen is they could find some other way to further progress the characters. I do think that mods, I don't want to call it 3.0, but like 6D, 6C, 6B, etc.
Yeah,
is coming. That's a way to kind of slowly progress the game without really giving us new content per se. They have said that they're adding new levels to the assault battles. I know that's pretty lame, and 15 extra minutes a day or whatever. But they're. I don't know. I don't know. Besides a raid, unless it's just some entirely new game mode, that can't reskin TB. They've already done that, so I think these TBs will be all there is. Maybe they could go back to doing goofy stuff with TW that no one was really a huge fan of, but maybe not the handicaps per se where you can't use characters, but maybe some of the bonuses.
I hated the bonuses more than the damn handicap. The handicaps were stupid, but the bonuses were outrageous.
Yeah,
I mean, it really. Oh God, some of those, and go to Maurice. Let's talk about they were over the top.
You get Geonosian just dropping the paint on everybody.
I mean, good Lord. I mean, Geos don't need that kind of help. Don't do that.
Just but it's I don't know. I mean that could be one way. I think we talked last week how, or maybe it was RSG the other day. Did they miss the ball on the excitement for First Order and Resistance for the new movie? It could be a way they kind of do First Order and Resistance bonuses or something stupid like that. I don't know.
I mean, they totally missed that. I mean, the excitement for me to get a rake, like literally, like during that week after the Rise of Skywalker dropped, I went to go see the movie 3 times, and then I saw it again a 4th time with my son. So I've seen the movie 4 times. After seeing any of those movies, if I came back and saw that there was an event for Rey, I probably would have taken my wallet out to get Rey, because at that time I was so in the mood for Rise of Skywalker related stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I was looking for, that I was playing Jedi Fallen Order. I was, looking for anything I could do that, that was Star Wars related, especially during the holidays. It feels they've kind of made the holidays feel very Star Wars lately. Right? Don't you feel like, when a movie's coming out during the holidays, like you kind of get the Star Wars feeling? You know what I mean? I don't know. I kind of do. So, the whole holidays, I mean, I was getting stuff Star Wars related. So if they had dropped some content in the game that I could consume that was related to the movie, other than, Hux, I might have bought it. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it was. But, yeah, I mean, Rey would have been cool at that point. That's exactly what they did in Fortnite, right? I mean, like, there's a Rey and a Kylo Ren in Fortnite already from the Rise of Skywalker. My son has them, okay? And, but there's no Rey and Kylo from the Rise of Skywalker in a Star Wars video game.
It would have been cool if Hux's relic was a cane. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that would have been cool. It would have been cool if it was just honestly, I don't understand why they would make a new Hux. Well, I guess they had to make Hux. I mean, he's 3 movies. They really got rid of Hux quick. They made that whole side story. They were like, yeah, let's get rid of this guy. You know what I'm saying? So,
at least he was semi interesting, other than some of the other characters that they.
Well, Ryan Johnson made him a joke. I mean, he was not supposed to be that. Like in the first movie, in The Force Awakens, Hux is not like. I mean, he's a little silly, but he's not like. He's. It's like in the Last Jedi, they straight up make a mockery of the character, like he's just a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's getting tossed around by Snoke and stuff like that. And, they make him like almost a secondary character. Now that Kylo is in charge, he's basically like just a loser, and it's like, it's, I don't know. I mean, I guess it was interesting, but nonetheless, I think that after what happened to him and how little respect they had for the character, they had to bring in that guy Pride to make it so that there was somebody menacing on the other side of the First Order, But yeah, I mean, do I think a raid is coming? Definitely, I think at some point this year, but I don't think that's happening right away. I think the next thing they're dropping are these characters and whatever event is tied to them.
All right, let me make sure I'm missing here. Okay, so we've got the next one, and this is one for you two guys. I don't understand the question, nor do I have any sort of idea how to answer it. But Kazakaji Too Easy asks, can Star Wars have a crisis in infinite galaxies to fix the canon of Star Wars? The Falcon can use time travel because of L3. Does that make any sense to you guys?
I don't know about I don't know about the time.
ahead.
I don't know about the time travel other than the world between worlds. But I'm saying like Ranger can elaborate.
Well, I think I understand what he's trying to say, and the answer is no. So, if you're talking about infinite universes, like infinite galaxies to fix, I think he meant canon of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's talking about like Marvel, like Crisis on Infinite Earths type stuff, or just DC Crisis on Infinite Earths type stuff.
Crisis on Infinite, where you have multiple universes and stuff like that. Yeah, is never no. So, sorry, Kazakagi.
So they have
Anything's possible. I mean, they could do it and come up with some way to do it, but.
So what they could do, and this is again something that they have introduced. So I mean, it is canon now. Is the world between worlds? So in Rebels, there is a place where Ezra goes, and he actually changes the past, and he saves Ahsoka from getting killed by Darth Vader in an episode on Rebels in their last season. So basically, what he does is he goes to the point in the Sith Temple on Malachor, where she has a battle with Vader, and as Vader's about to strike her down, basically, Ezra dives in and saves Ahsoka and pulls her out. So what ends up happening, though, at the end of the original episode is, if you look and you see that Ahsoka is walking down the steps right at the end of the episode with the bird following her, Morai.
Which ties into the previous season's ending, where I thought Ahsoka might still be alive. And she is, but she realizes that she can't do anything more until the timeline catches up to a certain point, because she can't be involved with events. She's not meant to be there.
But what I think ends up happening, though, in that is that was always meant to happen. Like, I don't think that this is a place where you can go to.
Filoni had,
yeah.
But this gets back to the ancients, the Jedi of the past, the Force users, and you see that the family's tied into this area, because you see the mantle, the giant picture, and so they can do things in the Force, but any other kind of ship jumping, hopping, and time traveling stuff like that, no. This possibly with the Force, but Sith didn't have access to this place. It was more light side, kind of. It looked like, it was like, from what I read and stuff, it was like you could look into mirrors of the past. It was kind of like a learning tool, like to look at events and stuff, but never really interfere.
Yeah, there was a point where he could have like gone back and saved Kanan, but it would have changed everything. Because then he wouldn't have been able to be there to save Ahsoka, right? So it would, because he would die, So it's like, because at the end of the day, if he takes Kanan out of that situation, then they all die, right? So it's like, so you have a paradox there. But the real interesting part about it is that at the end of the original episode, where Ezra and Kanan leave Ahsoka on Malachor, you still see her walking down the steps at the end of the episode. And they just basically show you that she's doing that at the end of this episode, where he pulls her out of the wall in the episode in the World Between Worlds. So what that means to me is that at every point in history, Ahsoka always gets saved from that battle, and then eventually goes back and walks down those steps. So it was never like it's not like Ezra could have done other things there. Like, it was his destiny was always to save her from that moment, and she was always supposed to walk down those steps. And that's just like the way that ended. But then he ended up closing the door to the World Between Worlds, and I think that's the end that we're going to probably.
That's because Palpatine was getting access.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they couldn't find a way to open that up again at some point, because they probably could, but I think it was tied to the family on Mortis, and if they decide to explore that mythology a little bit deeper, there could be some opportunities there, but I don't foresee them retconning anything that's happened in the saga films with the World Between Worlds. I think that was just something that was meant to kind of add some mystique to the cartoon universe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
All right, well, playing off that, Abner asks, where are Ezra and Thrawn after the space whale situation?
We don't know.
We don't know yet.
They went to.
I mean,
that's where Ahsoka and Sabine were heading. I think that's going to be a great story when they get to it.
It'll be awesome. I mean, you have to assume if they were anywhere in the known galaxy that they would have found them at some point after the.
Not necessarily.
if they were anywhere in the known galaxy,
They could have launched in the unknown regions of space near the galaxy.
but that's what I mean. They have to be at least. What I'm assuming is they're in the unknown regions, and they're probably going to tie that into some sort of a larger story at some point, for sure.
Yeah, well I'm hoping someday with either through maybe tying to the series, they get into what happens to Ezra and Thrawn, but we don't know.
Well, they could go.
Cool stuff.
Some of the rumors that I'm hearing online right now are that they're going to go to like the home world of the Chiss, right? And Thrawn and Ezra are now like basically allies. You know what I'm saying? And they could kind of go into this Chiss war with the Grisk, and the Grisk are meant to be like these. Beings kind of like the Uzon Vong that are immune to the Force. So they can't be damaged by Force abilities. So
Okay, I can't hear anything.
I don't hear anything either.
you guys don't hear me?
No, we didn't hear you.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
We got you now.
Okay. So yeah, the stream dropped again.
Huh.
So
Your internet's being a little wonky.
Yep, and it's
weather and stuff.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah, now it's back up. So so the Uzon Vong and the Grisk is what they're saying. Sorry guys again about the connectivity tonight, but are a species that could be immune to the Force, right? So this could be like some sort of a later timeline that takes place after episode 9. Because if they came to the galaxy, it would be a big deal. So I don't think it would happen within the Skywalker timeline. So it would have to be after that, I think. But they could deal with it outside of the known galaxy and then kind of bring it to the regular galaxy at some point. But again, yeah, we are talking about rumors. So, but listen, Star Wars, that's what Star Wars is about. Star Wars is talking about leaks and rumors and, possibilities and things like that. So, I mean, I have no problem talking about that stuff. I'm not going to make a whole video talking about the Grisk or anything like that or where Thrawn is because, again, that's speculation. But it's fun to speculate about Star Wars characters. It is. That's half the fun is kind of finding out how we're going to see, how we're going to, where Ezra is and find out, what happened with Thrawn. I mean, speculating about that stuff is what Star Wars is all about.
They found Sticks and conquer that part of the galaxy. All right, next question.
I just want to find my blueberry muffin. That's what I want.
What'd you do with your blueberry muffin?
I want them to find my blueberry muffin. Yeah.
Who's your blueberry muffin? Oh, you're talking about Grand Admiral Thrawn as our blueberry muffin.
Yeah, Thrawn's my blueberry muffin.
Next question. First Order Martin asks, this kind of plays semi off what you guys are talking about, and it's first time seeing First Order Martin ask a question. If you're new to the stream, welcome. He says, is Ahsoka Fulcrum and Clone Wars Ahsoka good in Galaxy of Heroes?
Snips is Ahsoka Fulcrum is not.
Ahsoka Fulcrum
Snips didn't used to really be, but now she's much better. Fulcrum had potential, and she might have been for maybe 5 minutes, but then she quickly fell by the wayside.
Her problem, her problem is that they didn't, for reasons of the show, they didn't give her a Jedi tag, right? So she's not really.
Yeah.
She doesn't really get the benefits from any of the tags, unfortunately.
She doesn't have any tag. Yeah, she's just one of those characters that if you're a fan of the character, it's cool to have, but you're not expecting to do a lot for her. So unfortunately, no.
There are so many other characters in that Rebel faction that she's not going to make really any top 5 team. Really, just you got Han Solo, you got Chewbacca, you got CLS. She's on the outside looking in terms of top 5 Rebels.
She's a really cool character, and it's unfortunate because she actually does decent damage too with her whirlwind attack, but it's unfortunately. She falls to the same victim as Jesus. You know exactly what I'm going to say here.
No, I really don't.
She falls victim to the same problem that Visa Smar falls into, where they're both great characters, but they're kind of not really usable because they're not tied.
There's a 3-dot mod. I found it. There's one on
Is there?
I will say now, if they had given her a Phoenix tag, she would be absolutely phenomenal
Absolutely
Yeah.
in that
crazy
team.
good.
Her kit goes with the Phoenix. It just seems to synergize with that faction, and you can use her with the Phoenix. She just unfortunately doesn't get any sort of benefit from the Hera lead. Is the problem, but
Yeah.
she's Martin. If you're a newer player, I would just avoid her altogether, man. Now the other Ahsoka is very good.
Yes.
Very very good.
Pretty nasty.
Snips, yeah.
You know, she can synergize with your clones. If you don't have gas, she can synergize with your Padme. If you're missing 3PO or someone, you know, she's very plug and play character now. Her leadership though does include the Night Sisters. Don't try to use that with Night Sisters. It's not very good. So don't try to do that. But yeah, we haven't talked about Fulcrum in a while. It's a good question. Let's see what else. I think we had one more that I skipped over here. Blah 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 blah. Aberdeen's got a couple. He says, how many love the fact that DR is losing power in the meta? And then also, what are we, the hosts, farming? So we can kind of do those together.
Well, it's DR's time has come, right? I'm the biggest Revan fan on the planet, and even I'm like, okay, that works for me, you know. But we're all, I think, at this level, well, not good on Maurice, but I'm sorry, Remon. We're all working on gas. So for me, right now, I mean, I don't have any characters to farm at the moment. The only thing I'm farming is ships, and then it's all about gear. But I'm kind of holding off until I get my gas going. Relic 7 him and the clones to 7, and then then it's going to start being individual characters as teams. It's just going to be about gear until the new characters come in. Then I'll go back to farming them, whether they're canteen or hard nodes, things like that. But yeah, the meta should shift, right?
It's about time.
Darth Revan's had his time, so it makes total sense that Darth Revan would shift out of the meta with gas coming, right? Until we have gas for a while, then it'll shift another one. If you can have it stabilized like that. But the problem with the meta is like it's one team, and then there's some secondary teams that you can use on offense to take it out, but then they suck on defense, right?
Right.
So, like for Darth Revan, it was Padme and the General Grievous nuke team that could do it, but if you leave them on defense, you're basically hosed. So gas will be in that same kind of situation where gas will be there, and then he'll be meta for a while, and then a new team or something will happen. It's just the way they cycle through. Wait for the next OP ridiculous god.
Yeah, I definitely don't think gas is going to last a year like Darth Revan did.
Well, Abner's got pretty decked out rebels too. I mean, even.
Sure.
I think Abner, I think you're gonna have some fun with this meta. There's a lot of teams that you probably have in your roster between the Rebels and Resistance that can pretty much challenge gas.
Oh yeah.
Up there. So it's a lot of fun. It's fun to climb right now if you have the time to experiment, and if you lose, so like if you have 50 crystals to refresh and stuff, it's fun to test stuff out with such a diverse meta. Like I used Jedi today to take out a Padme team. I used my Grievous nuke team to take out a super fast DR. I use Padme to take out that. I use 3 or 4 different teams now to climb. I'm having fun with it. So
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Revan has had his time. I mean, listen, Revan absolutely deserved to be the meta for a long period of time. It's a huge character for the game, and somebody that the player base has been waiting for years. So when Revan did come, it was definitely to be expected that he was going to dominate the game for an extended period of time, right? And it's great that happened. I mean, we had a year of Knights of the Old Republic, and probably a little bit more if you count the Jedi Revan meta before that. So, I mean, we're talking about a long time that the Knights of the Old Republic have dominated this game now. So it's time to move into, some Clone Wars here. And then we're going to get into possibly some sequel trilogy stuff with, Kylo and Rey at some point. So that's kind of where I think it's at. And I don't disagree. I think that it is time for a change. So that's it's good that it's finally happening. I just hope they kind of move into a more diverse meta where it's not just one team only, and you can kind of use different teams to take that one team down. Mm-hmm. That may be the better team. But to go with what I'm farming right now, I'm finishing up with ARC Trooper out of the Cantina store. I am farming out of the ship nodes. I'm finishing up farming Emphy's Nest and the Sith ship that's in there. The Sith, what's it called? What's that Sith ship that's in there?
Sith fighter?
The Sith fighter. Yeah, I'm farming the Sith fighter out of there. And then in the hard nodes, I'm farming Rose Tico, and I'm farming the Vulture Droid.
I'm still working on Vulture Droid too. Pretty much. I mean, I don't really have too much else to farm. I'm actually gearing up Aura Singh, just kind of passively in the back. I've got everything. Yeah, I kind of want to experiment with her. It's more for a Grand Arena, maybe TW sort of thing. Because these Dooku teams and Newton Dooku teams are running rampant. I'm going to try to build something with Aura Singh, potentially her lead, and you put Dengar in there and just completely prevent Dooku from putting anybody in stealth. My Grand Arena, I see a lot of the Newt Dooku Droideka X Nest, and the whole team goes stealth, and they kind of use Nest as the passive tank. And I think with Aura Singh lead, he'll try to stealth them. They won't go stealth, and you can just pick off Newt and Dooku, and then just kind of cripple the team. That's hopefully I can counter so many of those teams in Grand Arena that I need to come up with something to counter them, and I'm hoping a Gear 12 Aura Singh can help me. I don't want to take her all the way to go nutso with her, but we'll see. It's worth a shot. I think she'll always have some raid viability, so we'll see. It's a long time coming, but let's see. Just BM, have you guys seen any Ugnaughts out there in your guilds? No.
Ugnaught was a thing. Okay, and
for about 5 seconds.
Yeah, for about 5 seconds. Wasn't that for the Sith raid?
No, it was for the Hat raid.
Yeah,
it was speculation.
It was speculation that he would be great against droids, right?
And he was poofy.
Oh, he was bad.
He was okay. He was a good option against a droid team in Arena for people that were running like that crazy droid team with Jawa Engineer. He was good. You could take out a droid team with him if you had a good Ugnaught. But they need to add more Ugnaughts. I think we need to see Quill. We need to see Quill in this game. What do you think?
Right. Oh yeah.
No, I have spoken.
He's such an awesome character.
Yeah, just lots of chitter chatter. The lore talk or the movie talk inspired a bunch of theories and stuff. There was some good conversation in the chat tonight. So yeah.
So you want to get back to rumors? Let's do it.
No. I want to get to bed.
Okay. So basically, guys, we shared our thoughts on the movie tonight. I will again put a timestamp in the video later for anybody that wants to skip ahead of that talk, because they didn't get a chance to see the movie yet. But I think that they're going to be possibly pulling it pretty soon. I think there's a chance they may re-release it again with some additional footage. Is what I'm hoping. And I mean, I hope that there is like a longer cut of the movie that they're going to release, like they did with Avengers Endgame. But we'll see. Either way, there'll be more news coming out about it pretty soon. I'm sure they have the art book coming out soon with concepts and things like that. So we'll take a look at that stuff when that drops. And we do have the Clone Wars coming out in a few weeks. So anybody who's getting ready for that, definitely watch your episodes of the Clone Wars and catch up and binge on it now, so you can be prepared for when the new episodes drop, because I'm going to want to talk about that in a few weeks also. But I appreciate everybody coming out for the stream. If anybody has any other questions they'd like to ask, somebody asked a question about Lightside TB and he says we didn't answer it. Rooster?
Yeah, I missed it.
Okay.
I got top chat on. I missed it. I'm trying to look for it here, but
Lightside TB. I hate it.
It
sucks.
Suck is too nice a word. It is getting your teeth pulled kind of fun.
Yeah.
Without the anesthetic.
Oh, okay. It's where's everybody in Lightside TB stars and how's it going?
I think we're at 8. It's so
we're at
brutal.
9.
I'm so sick of getting my ass kicked. Let me go with my full relic tea and I'm dead. and they're gone.
Let me see where we're at.
Yeah, a full Relic 7, and yet I took in an all G12 team on another account and got 3 or 4 waves, and yet on another account that's much better, all of them are R7, same team, got wiped out before I even hit the first wave.
It's
So
such RNG.
yeah,
It's
that's what irritates me about this game. You're not playing it based on skill, gear, or mods that you have accumulated and put together so lovingly. It's based on pure RNG, and that's ridiculous.
That's who you pull. You know, I mean, it's pretty brutal, and so I'm just gonna be glad when this is over with, because sweet Jesus and baby Jesus.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the dark side Geo.
I can't wait till the next one, because I'm gonna get a 7-star Wat Tambor on the next one, so that's exciting.
Yeah, we're at 6 right now. I think once they open up deployments, we got a shot at 9, but realistically probably 8. I'm not too keen on what everybody's done so far. I just opened it up and looked. I've done all my missions, but I mean this one is purely on this one. Your success is completely hinged on how coordinated your officers and guild is. Like there's more. You do better with guild coordination and paying attention to what you need to do, and you really got to pay attention, because if you accidentally go over, you want to hold phases for the second. You want to hold phases for a day, and it's just all sorts of coordination. So you officers out there that are putting together these plans for the guild and stuff, props to you. It's incredibly difficult to manage.
It is. I had it all planned out, how it was going to go and the whole bit, and I ended up throwing that right out the window.
Yeah.
And just doing it piece by piece. This is the first one that Alpha's done all the way through. Last time we did Hoth, which greatly benefited us, by the way, to get a lot of those 7-star gas. But we're definitely working the light side Geo this time around, and it's not a fun experience putting it together.
It's evil.
So
sorry I missed that, Rooster. My bad, man.
Yeah, sorry about that, Rooster. Yeah, we're at 6 stars, so I think that we'll probably end at 6 stars, and that's where we'll be. But yeah, we'll see. It's a tough TB. I'm just I know how far. I'm just what really concerns me is how long it's going to be until we get Kiadi Mundi.
It's going to be at least a year,
right? I mean, Kiadi Mundi's got to be way
then
out.
He's going to be obsolete by then.
I mean, I don't even know, nobody knows what he looks like. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's been no beta testing of this character. There's been no game changers getting their hands on and take a look and see how good he is. I'm just kind of curious to see what kind of character we got here. We've never seen any gameplay of Kiadi Mundi. So I have to assume he'll be all right, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. I appreciate everybody coming out. It was a lot of fun. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. In the interim, what's going on for Reality Skewed Gamers this week, Ranger?
Well, we're doing our same old bit. We're not doing any stream on Twitch, but it's a holiday and stuff like that. So we'll be back hard and heavy at it on Tuesday with lunch stream. We'll do those the rest of the week. We have a Wednesday night show like we do every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Jedi Academy. We had another fun day today of some more Star Wars D&D action, 5th edition that we did. So people are really enjoying that. Finn does Marvels and other stuff on Twitch during the week too. So with tits. So we have a lot of fun. Just lots of streams. So check out the channel and you can check out all the different content. I had tried to record a new lore video and it didn't record. Something happened and I don't know what happened. I couldn't figure it out. Sometime this week I'll go back and try again, because it's an in-depth one. So that's what's really going on with us.
All right, and what about Operation Metaverse this week, Maurice?
We are streaming Thursday nights now, 10 o'clock. We just released the next couple Patreon workshops. We're going to do a workshop on 3 vs 3 and 5 vs 5 counters. You guys know what the next Grand Arena is going to be?
Starts tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, I guess we'll find out tomorrow what the what the grand arena is going to be. That was kind of lame. They didn't tell us anything. So, hope your rosters are ready.
Communication, 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 communication.
Yeah, but so yeah.
So, yeah, so $1,000 more in the RSG Tiltify campaign, and Finn has to take his rose to Relic 7. So, guys, definitely go over to the Reality Skewed Gamers channel. There's a link in the description, and donate to the campaign. What should they do, Ranger, to do that?
Just go over. There's a link in all of our descriptions, and you can just go there, and you can donate, and you can
towards the American Cancer Society.
Right. This is all for fighting pediatric cancer and our partnership with the American Cancer Society. So, if you're interested in helping support that and maybe get some of these fun things at the end there, go donate toward those, and we're just $1,000 away basically from doing it. So there you go.
And you guys are you've gotten already like 16,000, something like that, or 17,000.
We're at 16,462 out of 17,500.
It's unbelievable that you guys have done
Nice.
that. It's crazy. Yeah, that's a lot.
Is the
of
raffle
money.
still open for the lightsaber? Are there still
It
tickets
is.
available for that?
If you can donate any donation.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool lightsaber up for grabs, guys.
Oh, yes,
check
it
it
is.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty awesome, guys. So, what's going on with Boba's podcast this week? Anything?
Yeah, actually, right after Territory Battles, I'm going to be making arrangements. Both Mike Hunt and I are going to be doing a podcast together.
Awesome.
Yep.
So, there's a link in the description, guys, for Reality Skewed Gamers, Operation Metaverse with TMoney and good old Maurice. Obviously, Reality Skewed Gamers with Finity and Ranger, and then also Avi and the Boba's Alliance crew are over on their channel. So make sure to go check out those channels, subscribe to their content, and support their content as you do mine. I appreciate everybody's input today. This was a great show. I'm glad we were able to get a lot of dialogue going about the movie. If you guys have any thoughts about the film, or feelings that you'd like to express to me, I'll definitely make sure to share my opinions back if you type them into the chat after the show, for those of you watching the replay. But I appreciate everybody coming out. It was a lot of fun. I hope everybody has a great evening and a great rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. May the force be with you guys, and we'll see you then. Have a good night.